you got a lot of guys out there. Like I would pay to see a Jamal Crawford play one-on-one against somebody.
Yeah.
Because when I played against him, he was amazing.
Jamal versus Lou Will. Like,
Right?
I'd pay to see that.
Like, I would pay to see
The battle
that.
of the six man.
I would pay to see ISO Joe Johnson play against anybody.
Yeah.
You see, you heard what ISO just
Right?
said, though?
Yeah.
ISO, because Michael called ISO out.
If the money's right, we can
and
make
he
it
was
happen.
like, he was like,
Right?
make the money right. I mean, he called Carmelo out too.
There's a lot of guys that were phenomenal one-on-one players that played a role on their specific NBA teams that I would pay to watch those guys play because I'm an NBA. I'm a fan of basketball.
Period.
First of all,
Yeah.
So, hey man, a guy like Michael Beasley who didn't necessarily get his just due, would I pay to see him play one-on? Absolutely, I would.
Yeah. You can see what Ice Cube is doing with the Big Three, and you can see a lot of positives. You can see the challenges and have a level of like respect and stuff for it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And as that is going along, I had a thought of, damn, what if it's bad luck and bad timing? Because it looks to me that this 1v1 thing that's sprouting up is gonna overtake anything else that's under the NBA. I found myself enjoying the last one with the last two guys.
Lance Stevenson.
Yeah,
and,
Lance Stevenson and Mike Beasley.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that more than any Big Three game that I've ever seen. What's y'all take on that? What, you know what I mean? What do you think this 1v1 thing can go?
You want to take that first, or you want me to get it?
I mean, I think the sky's the limit, man. You gotta understand, basketball has many variety of aspects to it, right? You got 1-on-1, 2-on-2, 3-on-3, 4-on-4, 5-on-5, and whatever floats your boat. That's kind of what it is. You got guys now, ex-NBA players. One thing about those guys, they love basketball. Each one of those guys think that they're the best things since sliced bread. And Michael Beasley feels like he's one of the best basketball players who didn't get his just due when he was playing in the league. So for him, the only way that he can get his retribution is by playing one-on-one right now, and he's a heck of a one-on-one player. So, he's calling guys out. As far as what the people in the media want to see, it's just like boxing, right? Boxing, one individual gets in the ring against another. So, if they can make that happen, and people are going to show out and going to spend their dollars to come see it, I think it's going to work just like boxing would.
Mm. I like that. Just like boxing.
No. I mean, I agree 1,000%. It's really now the latest hit trend.
Right.
It's that because I even seen in the latest video, Kyrie was out there supporting the videos, and he's been talking about it a lot as well. So that's something that we've been doing since the beginning of basketball. Like, every real hooper you king of the court is mano-a-mano, 3 dribble, you know what I'm saying? Let's get it done, And so I respect the game, but I also do understand that there's a lot of elements to that is missing. Like, do you know how to play within a team format? And a lot of these guys struggle with that. And that's why they are focusing on themselves. And I'm not knocking them. I'm not, you know what I mean? But we know in team basketball, that's real basketball because now you have to work, being cooperative with every different element of the game, teammates, coaches, officials, even bad officials. Right. You have to figure out it's a bigger chess match than to sit there and play one person.
Yeah, I find 5-on-5, that's the game for me.
Yeah,
everything else is just kind of, practice, as far as that goes. And I think, the clips I saw, the Beasley Stevens thing, those motherfuckers just should have wrestled. Right. Like, it was just a bunch of physical nonsense. That's not appealing to me.
I think a lot of times when you're dealing with, especially now, ex-NBA basketball players, people always just ask me, how come you didn't try to go out for the Big Three? And I'm like, man, I'm at a point now to where I ain't finna be out there just wrestling with guys. Right. I'm way past that point.
Yeah, of course.
So now when you're watching these guys with one-on-one, it's like, okay, cool. What I don't want is the younger generation to realize that, yes, one-on-one is a part of basketball, and that's how you perfect some of your crafts, right? But the ultimate game in basketball is a team game, and you have to understand how to play and how to overcome the obstacles of all the dynamics with having other guys that can play, refereeing, coaching, understanding, hey, man, sometimes things may not go your way at a specific time, and you gotta stay the course. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
5-on-5 pretty much exemplifies everything in society. You got to be accountable. You got to be responsible. You got to be able to stand up and be there with, and understand and accept. Sometimes you got to accept your role.
Yeah.
Right.
I love that you just said that, because I have felt for probably 15 years that you can tell a person's soul by playing pickup basketball with them. Because, are they unselfish? Are they a stand-up person? Are they a score cheater? Are they a shit foul caller? Do they find the role that they need to play with the people that are on the court with them? It is, to me, like a window into the soul of a person. And I've written people off as human beings because of the way they play pickup basketball. And I'm dead serious.
No,
like,
I know you are.
I don't, that's the thing.
That's not, see, y'all, but
you've been on the edge, my fan.
now, and that's 100% real now, but y'all comparing the 5-on-5 NBA to the 1v1. I'm asking about, because see, I think with every major sport, the NFL tried it with the XFL, like the secondary sport behind the NBA, behind the 5-on-5, right? That's why we thought, like, okay, 3v3 ice scoop, damn, that's a good idea, like NBA players. I'm saying, can the 1v1 overtake that and be like the number one under the NBA? So I guess the number two. Can it grow to that?
I think it could. I think it could, because I think that you got a lot of guys out there. Like, I would pay to see a Jamal Crawford play one-on-one against somebody.
Yeah.
Because when I played against him, he was amazing.
Jamal versus Lou Will. Like, I'd pay to see that.
Like, I would pay to see
the battle of the six man.
I would pay to see ISO Joe Johnson play against anybody.
Yeah.
You see, you heard what ISO just said, though?
Yeah.
ISO, because Michael called ISO out.
If the money's right, we can make it happen.
He was like, make the money right. I mean, he called Carmelo out too.
There's a lot of guys that were phenomenal one-on-one players that played a role on their specific NBA teams that I would pay to watch those guys play, because I'm an NBA. I'm a fan of basketball.
Period.
First of all.
Yeah.
So, hey man, a guy like Michael Beasley, who didn't necessarily get his just due, would I pay to see him play one-on? Absolutely, I would.
Yeah.
But
you know what I'm saying?
But don't we believe that this is more so of, because we've been doing this. If you're from the block, you know that you've been doing the one-on-one, and it's wrestling matches, and it's a blood sport. People betting on games and everything else. So I think that that's what the culture of this one-on-one is really bringing back.
Yeah.
It's bringing back ruggedness. It's bringing back. You know what I mean?
I don't think it's bringing something back. But what the different dynamic is to bring higher level guys into it. Well, there's been dudes playing 1v1 and shooting videos that are not these guys. Now, when you're putting in these guys that we all know are at a really elite level and have a name and a following,
this is what I like about the 1v1. Right? Everybody has this thing of, man, I should have been in the NBA. I didn't get my opportunity. I didn't get my chance. Right? So now when you start talking 1v1, you don't just cap it off at NBA players. Every neighborhood has a guy that can play, that can hoop. Hey, let's get those guys involved. Everybody want to see what it's like to be a player against an NBA basketball player. Let's get them involved. Would people come out and see that? Right? No differently than you go see Jake Paul fight against an ex-champion, right?
Yeah.
I would see it.
I agree.
Just for shits and giggles, whether it's not
it has that
or
element to it.
It has that element.
It has that element to it.
My league is predicated off of a lot of retired NBA guys, or maybe you just paid 3 or 4 years in the league or whatever. So my league is predicated off of a lot of those guys playing against some of the overseas pros, like you said, who believe that they should have got their shot. Yeah. You know what I mean? And now it creates great basketball, if we be quite honest. You know what I mean? Because you're competing harder in a different way, but to the point of I don't see that happening with current NBA players, because you're not going to want to damage your brand. Like, if you're known as like the easy money sniper, and you get beat by the 12th man on the Grizzlies bench in a one-on-one contest, that's not going to be a good look for the brand.
I don't think that the 1v1 is for guys that are currently playing.
No, I agree.
I think 1v1 is just like the big three. This for guys who are towards the end of their careers, that still love the game, that still trying to play. and they're still
big enough tickets that you can still draw attention. Yeah.
So for them, those guys are on their last leg, and hey, man, I would see a ISO Joe play against a guy who thought that they were good enough to play in the league, and let's see where you stand up at.
Yeah.
If the money's right, make it right.
Make it right.
And for the other guys, hey man, ISO Joe versus Michael Beasley, yeah, I pay to see that. Absolutely.
Is that worth it? Would you believe that? What number would you believe would be worth it to somebody like ISO Joe? Because a lot of the guys who are at his caliber, they're not worried about money at this point.
I wouldn't cap it off. I wouldn't cap it off at any number, because you don't cap off a boxing match at any number.
Well, I guess what I'm saying is why, because like
what
ISO said that
what would be the minimum number?
Yes, to make him
500,000.
To make it worth. You see what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
Because
That's what he said too.
well, because you got to look at it from that
standpoint.
standpoint. Look at it from the standpoint of, if you are ISO Joe and you have this reputation and you just so happen to lose to a street ball legend from here in Orlando, Florida, right?
That could happen.
That actually damages your brand a little bit.
If
you think
Not
about
for
it,
Joe. I
because
think
you're
for
still
current NBA players,
you're
yes.
still doing
Okay,
camps.
let me ask you a question.
A lot of these guys are still doing
Let me ask
camps.
you
A lot of these
Let me ask
guys
you a
are
question.
still trying to
Let me ask you a
galvanize
question.
money
Joe,
afterwards.
Everybody that Jake Paul beat, that
well
tarnish-
past their prime.
tarnish- That's what I'm saying. So
But
I don't
it
think
was
that-
a
I don't
bad
think that-
look, like
I
for
don't
Anderson
think- I don't-
Silva
yeah, but I don't
and all
think
that.
Joe is past his prime.
Yeah,
so I
all
see
these
where
guys
you're
are
going.
it's a
past
bad
their
look.
prime.
I
So
see
I
where
don't
you're
think
going.
that it'll be like Joe Johnson said, man. Hey, listen, man. I got 20,000 points in this game at the highest level.
No.
Ain't but 50-something people that got the same credentials that I have.
No
You
question.
know how crazy that is?
But see, here's the element.
So
in
if he
which
lose to anybody, it don't matter. Hey, man, you beat me
we
and I
say
wasn't
that,
at my best.
we
Okay,
say that,
cool.
but that's not entirely true.
Guess
Because
what?
just 2
Guess
years
what?
ago,
Hey, guess what? And I'm speaking, and I shouldn't do this, but I love Joe Johnson. I'm a huge fan. Right now, as good as Joe Johnson is, he's as sorry as he's ever been.
and I mean that was, what is he? What, 45? Probably something like that.
Hey, listen, whoever he plays 1v1, I can promise you and I can assure you, they don't want to see the 25, 22, 23-year-old Joe Johnson. I can promise you.
And I get that. But I guess that's to my point. But just 2 years ago, we seen a big event. Yeah, I heard y'all bring up Jake Paul.
Yeah.
Jake Paul beat Mike Tyson. Now let that sink in. That is one of the boxing legends.
Did he beat 22-year-old Mike?
But no. But what I'm saying is exactly. So now we have to all sit back and say, "Oh, well, you couldn't beat him then." And I remember
but
what
who cares at this
what was
point?
the climate after that fight. Y'all remember what the climate was? It was like, man, Tyson looked it real bad out there. That
Guess
knee
what?
looked like it
And
was
he
shot.
shouldn't
Like now that's going to be one of our lasting memories of Mike Tyson.
I hate that I watched it.
You see what I'm saying? You hate that you
I
watched
hate
it.
that I watched it.
You see what I'm saying? So,
I didn't watch it.
and you didn't even watch it. And that's one of the biggest names in boxing.
I will never watch anything
Okay,
that
so-
fucker does except for his funeral.
Okay, so think about this. If Joe Johnson plays anybody, he has an opportunity to say, man, I ain't at my best right now. I don't want to do it, or let's do it.
Yeah.
Mike Tyson had that same ability.
Yeah.
Oh, that's at the money. It's money driven.
If he jumped up there and he fought that man, he didn't give a damn about his legacy.
Yeah.
Well, I guess my point is that if you're telling, Joe has already said it's about the money.
Yeah.
So he's saying that you
No, he didn't say it's all about the money.
You got to
He
make
said-
the money,
he said,
make the money
I'm
right.
not going to jump out there if you give me a lackluster offer.
But that's
Because
saying it's
I am
about
at
the
this
number.
level, so let's do it.
But he's not
Let's
being
make it
called
right.
out, though. He's not being. I can see if he was being called out by somebody from the street, but he's being called out by somebody who is recognized as a legitimate NBA player. He was the number 2 pick in the NBA draft. So it's not like he's being called out not by somebody that's not his peer.
So make it right.
Let me ask y'all this, because this is going to lead to my next topic. And after the next topic, we're going to get a healthy dose of this H League.
Okay.
Do you believe Beasley when he say he beat LeBron all them times in practice?
Yes.
I do.
You do?
Yes.
Both of y'all do.
Yeah, I do. You're talking about one-on-one games. Remember, we just said that's 2 different sports.
But think about this.
One-on-one and
just
5-on-5
because,
is 2
just because
different
he beat
sports.
somebody one-on-one don't make him the better player. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like he one-on-one is a totally different animal than 5-on-5. If we playing 5-on-5 and you ask anybody, if you want to pick LeBron James or you want to pick Michael Beasley, you're probably gonna pick LeBron.
Yeah.
But one-on-one, Yeah, he probably beat him one on. Yeah, I've seen that on plenty of teams I've been on.
I wish he would address it because like Evan Turner came out on the podcast and was talking about how many times he beat Jason Tatum in one-on-one in practice. But Jason Tatum came back and he was on one of the podcasts with Teague and them, and he was like, "That's a damn lie," you know what I mean?
Because it hurts his brand, though.
Yeah.
It really does. You can at most parlors they're saying Jason Tatum's a top 10 player in the NBA currently.
Yeah.
To hear somebody like Evan Turner, who was a number 2 pick too as well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Was he out of Ohio State? I believe
yes,
it was.
Ohio State.
So he was a good player.
Yeah.
But he would never materialize into the player that Jason Tatum is.
And he was older.
Yeah.
But to hear that, guess what that does?
And that's what
you know.
That's another thing that you have to sometimes take into consideration, right? Hey man, I'm older than you. I'm stronger than you. Like you got to understand, NBA, it's not boys. You got grown ass men that's out there, that's strong as an ox. That's like, hey man, I could put you in a situation where I don't give a damn how good you is, how talented you is. If you ain't got no help, you're in a bad situation.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Facts.